What's up, guys? It's your boy DJ. I'm back. Okay, bam. Okay, I wanted to explain my free energy setup just a little bit clearer than I did the other day. Okay, I'll try to make it really short. Okay, because in the video I mentioned that I'm going to be sending power from the slave motor here back to the battery. Right? I didn't want you guys to think that I'm going to connect the positive and negative of this to the battery and send it back. No, not at all. Toward the end of that video, I did mention that the power was going to go to the solar controller. I just want to make it a little bit more plain. That's all. Okay. But anyway, my positive and negative here would be connected to this little doodad here, which will be connected to my 400 watt universal solar connector. Yes. So the power is going from here to here, and my output is connected, of course, to my solar controller. So that will be how I send the power from the solar controller here back to my battery bank. Voila, free energy. Yes. Again, how is it free energy? Because motor A here is controlling motor B here, the slave motor, which is being used as a generator, which will be sending an output current back to the universal solar connector. Bam! There you go right there. Okay? So it's going to really be supporting my solar panels on top of the roof of my garage to power my what? 3.8 cubic feet freezer, which I'm using as a refrigerator because I have an external thermostat here that keeps my freezer at refrigerator temperatures. Voila. Free energy. Can it work? It doesn't have a choice but to work. Okay? Doesn't have a choice. It will work. Why? How do I know it works? Because I have this battery maintainer here right now, right? It only sends out 3 amps of power. As mentioned in the previous video, this right here, I don't have a motor. My motor controller hasn't come in yet. So I can't control the speed right now to see how many amps are coming out of this slave motor. But when I connected it to the multimeter, it was on overload. And that multimeter right here has a 10 amp setting on it. So, and this smart charger and maintainer only sends out 3 amps of power. Okay? So yes, it will work. And with this smart charger maintainer right there, it's able to keep my solar set up going. Okay. On cloudy days or whatever. Like I mentioned in the last video, I only used it one time in a week. One time because it was cloudy. And other than that, my refrigerator that I'm using it for was able to be maintained. Okay, so this right here, basically, in a sense, is going to be a battery maintainer. Okay, which is going to cost me nothing to do. Okay, I can even, if I choose to, use an external battery like right here, my test battery. I can use that, connect a small 25 watt solar panel just for this setup here alone. Okay, to power this and to keep that battery maintained. Okay? But I'm going to do it the way I originally planned. Everything off of the solar bank. All right? So I just wanted to make that clear that, yeah, the power is going to be routed to the battery, but it's going to go through the universal solar connector into that and then out to the battery. Yes. Now, I mentioned also, guys, that I have a motor controller coming in. It should be in today. It's out for delivery today. The nice thing about the motor controller, I will be able to control how many volts I send to this motor. Okay? It has a digital display on it showing me how many volts is going to this motor. So it will not be running this fast at all. And another thing I want you guys to know about these motors, okay, they may be not perfectly efficient, as we all know, but what's nice is they are bearing motors. These motors are quite powerful, believe it or not, because they're scooter motors. These things will carry a weight up to 260, 250 pounds on those little Razor scooters. Trust me, I know. I have Razor scooters. But anyway, so this motor here that can carry all that weight basically has no load on it at all. It's just going to spin, so it will be efficient in that way. As I mentioned, I did a test with a drill. I had very low RPMs on the slave motor, and it was outputting 3 point something amps. And when I sped it up, of course, it would overload the meter. So it will work. Also, guys, I wanted to mention this too. I'm kind of upset by this because it just hit me too, guys. We're all kind of being bamboozled, so to speak, with, the power company and whatnot. Because if you want to have a hybrid system in your garage or even in your house, guys, let's think about this rationally here, okay? All you technically have to do, first of all, is get your battery bank, okay? I got my four AGM cells here, right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? But of course, if you're going to use a solar setup in your house, you want to use like lithium iron phosphate batteries because they're very safe to use, and they have a BMS and all that jazz in them. A little costly, but worth it, okay? What I mean by being bamboozled, let's say you want to have a hybrid system in your house, right? All you need to do is get a 3,000 watt inverter to 2,000 watt inverter because the main thing that's going to draw a lot of power will be your refrigerator, okay? And you can get you a battery maintainer, one that puts out more voltage than this one, of course, to leave it plugged up in your wall and just have that to maintain your batteries, your solar batteries, your 100 amp hour solar batteries inside your house, how much power is that going to use a month, really? Okay, and say you got your solar panels on top of the house, like a 500 watt setup, charging your lithium iron phosphate batteries, and you got a battery maintainer connected to the batteries, to maintain the batteries when they drop below a certain level, on cloudy days. The battery maintainer kicks in, charging your solar cells at a amp rate of probably 5 to 6 amps. You can do it that way. That would be a true hybrid setup. But there's just a bunch of different ways you can do it. But I looked at the average cost for a solar setup around the United States, and it was like $15,000 to $20,000. And the reality is, guys, to really get by, you don't need a roof full of solar panels. You just don't, But we know in America, we do what? It's business. People want to make money. So, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because my knowledge is increasing about the solar, living off grid and using solar power, coming up with different ways how to do things. And I'm already plotting a way to go solar in my house, but at the same time, leaving my electricity on, of course, as a backup. It will be the backup, not the solar. That's what I plan on doing. I plan on operating my water pump in the basement, the refrigerator, of course. Can't do much about the stove because that's 220, but a microwave. I'm going to try to go almost totally solar in the house over time. Give me a year or so, 6 months to a year. But I'm going to simplify everything because $15,000 to $20,000 is crazy. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's too much money when all you need is like 4 to 5 overkill. I'm going to overkill on my battery bank in the house. I'm going to get like 4 to 5 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries. Okay? I'm going to overkill on it, and I'm going to use this free energy setup that I'm using here more than likely. And even if I don't, I'll simply use a charger maintainer to keep the cells peaked out on cloudy days like today, when the sun's not out, to maintain my batteries. How much is that electric bill going to be, guys? You see what I'm saying? So we're kind of getting bamboozled from the power companies if you really look at it. I'm just using this as a kind of an example of how that we're getting bamboozled, Yep. Just some thoughts, guys. I could be wrong with some of this stuff, but some thoughts. All right, guys, I'm going to cut the video short. I think I rambled on long enough. Later.